Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Well, I just have a little change of scenery because I just thought that might be fun and something different. And sometimes you have to do something different just to spruce things up. So today what I thought I would do, because I've had so many comments and questions about the gray hair process, and yes, I have done several videos about different stages. What I thought I would do is just put together a few simple points, 5 points that either I wish I would have known before I started the process, or what I feel really helped along the way. And I'm going to insert some pictures. Some I have posted before on prior videos, some are from the very beginning stages, and just a few to carry through the middle and the end. So there'll be kind of an accumulation of the actual process. So just to start out to say, when I started growing my gray out, or transitioning from dyed hair of many years to growing it out gray, my husband and I, were in the process of, he was transferring his job and moving out of state. So I was basically giving up my position at work and going to go into semi-retirement. We were also taking my mom in to live with us. So there was a lot going on. And I knew 3 months before we actually physically moved that I was thinking about going through this transition. So I had my hair in just a bob cut for years. I wore it like that for probably a good, I want to say 10 years. And you know, I did different styles to it even during that time when I was dyeing it. I'll put a couple of pictures here. Just stacking it in the back, and then sometimes putting a few layers at the bottom, sometimes cutting a little side bang and then growing it back out, on and on and on. But right before our move, probably 3 months before, I started to cut my hair shorter and shorter, because I was in the process of thinking, I'm going to do this. I am going to grow my hair color out. Now, had I tried it in the past? Yes. How far did I get? Oh, let's example. One day looking in the mirror going, yep, I need to get some color on this hair. Got to go back to the hairdresser. No, I'm going to let it just try to grow it out. The next day I'm on the phone. Hey, need to get my hair colored. So I never got much past just a week of outgrowth, maybe, if that, because I just couldn't get to the hairdressers. I was busy or things were coming up. So I just kept thinking, I want to do this. And at that time, now I'm going to tell you, this was 2015, gray hair was starting to become popularized, and honestly, by the younger generation. So gray was coming in, and the color for that particular season in the fall was just like a hot commodity. So it just really was playing on my mind. I think I want to do this. I think I want to do this. And of course, as I thought it, I would speak it, and everybody would say, oh, you're crazy, don't do that. You'll look old, you'll look haggard. All the same things that I'm sure many of you have heard or have thought about yourself. So let's get into what I consider to be 5 things that helped me get through the transition, or maybe can help you, and a few things that I wish I would have concentrated more on. So first of all, the thought is in your mind. Okay, I'm sick of dyeing my hair. So how many years do we go, oh, I'm so sick of dyeing my hair. I'm sick of dyeing my hair. And I had a standing appointment the last few years about every 3 or 4 weeks. If I couldn't make it, then I had to reschedule. But because the gray hairs started to become so difficult, and they have a mind of their own to where they just don't want to accept the color. And it just seemed like I was always seeing the sprouting of it here on the sides of the temples, and that was just began to get to be so irritating. So if you have the thought in your mind and you keep thinking about it, you have to have a plan. You don't want to just go cold turkey, like I'm gonna grow my hair out color wise, no more dye. I'm just going cold turkey. Now maybe that works once you have a plan in mind, but because you have to have determination. So a plan and determination for sure. You just have to. But get a plan. And so with a plan, do some research. Talk to others about it. Now, keep in mind, you may not find anybody in your favor. You might hear the same old things. You'll look gold. You'll hate it. Don't do that. Talk to your hairdresser. Get her opinion. If you're afraid that she may be biased towards the hair coloring and to keep you coming in to get your hair dyed, go to someone new. Try to find a colorist, somebody who is really good with color and understands, the full technique of growing the hair out. Or, it's always best to go to your hairdresser that you have established a good rapport with and you trust. So this is one of those things that you just have to sit down with that individual and just talk about it. Get her opinion. It's good to just gather information. So look on social media. There's a whole bunch out on social media now that's just at our, the tips of our fingers. Do research that way. There's social groups out there that do support women going gray. There's all kinds of pictures on Pinterest. So start clipping pictures of maybe hairstyles that you might like, or look at somebody's picture that has hair similar to yours and coloring, so that maybe you could get an idea of, I think my grays coming in will look like that. So do that type of research and get into a support group that they're going to be supporting you in this process, and really get one that's monitored well. Beauty Reinvented, I think, is tip top, because she really does a great, fantastic job, Nicole, of just making sure that you are well taken care of and well loved, and that you have the right support to back you in this decision, because this is a big decision. You're going to go through a transition, and it's going to affect the way you see yourself. So that's the most important thing. Others are going to see you, but you have to have the right thought process in your mind. It's how you see yourself, how you feel. And trust me, for most of us, the road is kind of wavy and bumpy, because we don't feel so good when we're going through this transition. Now, I've talked to a couple of women who have told me they absolutely love it. They love it, they're excited about it, and they love seeing it just coming in. So that wasn't me, no. Because as you can see, I would sometimes just have to do a disguise with hats and cover it up as best as I could. But that was just me. After you've spent some time gathering all of your information, your thoughts. I mean, write them down on paper. If you're a visual person, make a wall that you just have pictures of women in gray hair, and at different stages: young, middle age, older, women with white hair, women with salt and pepper hair, and just look at that as a world that you may be wanting to enter into. And then take it all and start a process. Pros, cons. I think you'll see that the cons are going to really outweigh the pros in the beginning. But if you get to the point where you're just so sick of it, you just know, I'm just tired of it. I want this change. I don't want to dye my hair anymore. I want to see what my natural hair color looks like. I want to see how my hair is going to feel. Then write those things down. I am a visual person, and I just do better writing things down, because it's a process of thinking about it, putting it on paper, looking at it, reminding myself of what I like and what I don't like. So number one is to have a plan to make a well-informed decision about what you want to do. Number two is to gather all of your information, write down your pros and your cons, and then do what I call the 3-day decision. And I'm going to explain that in just a minute. It's something that I do with almost any decision I make in my life. It was something that was shared with me years ago by a pastor of our church, especially when you're not sure, you don't know what's the best decision to make. And so I'm going to explain that. I'm going to come back to that, but I want to get through these. Number 3, be kind to yourself. Seriously, talk yourself out of that language that goes through your head, those thoughts. You'll look old. You're going to look haggard. You'll hate it. Okay, so if you look in the mirror and you've done the process and you think you look old, check mark. If you feel like you look haggard and feel haggard, okay, check mark. So what's the worst that can happen? You get a bottle of dye and you re-dye your hair. You don't have anything to lose doing this. It's just a process. And it can be, grueling, because you may not like the way you look. You might not like the way your hair is transitioning, but it is a process. So it's like anything else. If you want instant gratification, this process is not for you, because it does take time. I mean, it's hair growth, and we all know what hair growth is. So actually, instead of having those kinds of thoughts in your head, look at the beauty of the color. Start looking at things that have gray in them, gray tones, and think about how you can emphasize your gray hair. Now, I know when I went through the worst part of my transition, which was the very beginning, because I did something that was pretty drastic, and I cut my hair and I kept cutting it shorter until I went with the full-blown choice. Once I made the decision, I'm absolutely doing this, I pixied it, and I hated it. I felt like I looked like a beetle with the haircut. I just didn't like it at all, but I was so determined to do it. I just thought, I'm gonna plow through this. I went ahead and just cut my hair short. Now, that's pretty drastic. Have I worn my hair before in the past in a pixie years ago? Yes. So it wasn't anything that was foreign to me. but I hadn't worn it that short in years and years and years. So it was a change. But I knew for me, when I was making my decision and planning the process of how I want to go about doing this, I knew I was not going to be happy with the line of demarcation from the dyed hair color to seeing, because I would just flip out every time it was 3 or 4 weeks, time to go get the hair dyed, and I would see, oh, I got an inch of growth. And then I started buying those little brush kits, the makeup thing, so okay, I was sick of it. So, look at things that are gray and start to appreciate the color. Look at outside, things that, attract you. Start looking at the combination of the light colored gray and the dark backgrounds, in a tree or a piece of wood. I know this sounds crazy, but it's just learning to appreciate the next phase in your life. And it's just like, I've never liked gray. I mean, to me, gray was just kind of drab, it's not one of my favorite colors like pink or yellow or something that's, bright and happy and cheery. So I started to have an appreciation for the color gray. And then I started looking at blankets that I liked in gray, iframes that I liked in gray, and that was the next decision I made, was as my hair was growing out, okay, when it's time for my eye exam, I'm going to get gray frames, and I did. And that put a lot of emphasis on my face, I felt, instead of just what was going on up there in my head. Also, very important, think about your hair health. Your hair health is what is important here. You are going to be amazed at how different your hair not only looks, but feels. And there's a mystery as it's growing out. What is the end result going to look like? And start that process of the anticipation and be excited about it. So, thinking about hair health, start prepping your hair. Lots of masks that you do routinely and regularly. If you have lighter colored bleached hair that you've been bleaching or stripping down for years and years, get a good shampoo, a purple shampoo that can tone down those colors as you're growing out your hair. I've had a lot of women say, I wish my hair would grow out your color because I look so washed away. It just makes my face look so washed out. Well, you have to do things to bump it up. Put on a darker color lipstick. If you're not comfortable doing that, then do something other than that. Wear a hat, wear a headband. If your hair is longer, wear it up. Find a couple of, messy bun styles that you can put your hair up so that, you're wearing the hairstyle that's in style, and yet all of that transitioning is going on, and the focus is on wear big earrings. I mean, big earrings was a big thing kind of for me when I had that short hair, because I was always trying to do something to take the emphasis off of the hair up here. So, next that's important is just look at your inner self. Look at the I guess just the chapter in your life. You can be transitioning at a young age, at 30. You might just be, you know what, I've never dyed my hair, and now I'm starting to see gray, and I'm just going to let it go. Great, wonderful. Some of you might be experiencing some emotional loss, either through, a friend, a spouse, a relationship, something like that, that causes you to maybe feel bad about yourself or your situation. Maybe you've been married for many years and now things are not going the way you'd like them to go, or you find yourself on your own and you need a change. And part of the change is to be good to yourself, to look at yourself on the inside as to the next step or the next chapter in your life. And don't look at yourself the way others look at you. Look at yourself the way you need to look at yourself and talk yourself through that. Then, number 4 is to have fun. I mean, really have fun. I wish I would have been more flamboyant with hair bows and, things like that, because I think it would have got me through some of those days that I was just on the brink of going, I need a bottle of hair dye. I got to get rid of this. I just don't think I can take this. So, you need to have fun. Dress it up. Some of the tools that I used were, makeup, jewelry, bold earrings, hats. Of course, I went with the haircut. And then, you're in the process, so you've gone through these 4 steps. You have a plan, you're making a decision, you're gathering all of your information so that you can be well informed before you start this grueling process. You're going to start convincing yourself that this is what you want to do. You're going to be kind to yourself. You're going to convince yourself, I know this is just a bad phase I'm going through. I don't really like it, but I know the end result will be wonderful. You're going to think about having good, healthy hair. And then you're going to zhuzh it up and have some fun. And number 5 is you are going to be so determined that you are going to resist the urge to color your hair while you're going through the process. I tried to do that to sort of blend in, thinking, okay, just put a few, and it was just a major disaster. I've talked about it in another video. I don't want any more hair dye on my hair. And you're going to resist the urge to dye it until you have completely transitioned. Because when you have completely transitioned, and if you've done some of these things that I've mentioned, like hair masks and brushing your hair routinely and regularly, and really work on getting your hair back to good health, resist that urge to stop the process before you finish, before you can really get a good look at your hair and what it feels like now, and what the color looks like, and is the shine restored again? Does it have luster? And all of that. Try a new shampoo, a new conditioner. Just introduce your hair again to good products for your hair and your scalp, but keep away the dye. And in the end, if you don't like it, irregardless of what anybody else says, if you don't like it, if it's just not comforting and settling to you, then you can dye it again. So it's like, a no-brainer. If it's something you really want to do and you're just not sure, like I said, go through this 5-step process. It's so simple and easy to make a good decision. And when you get that far, if you've grown like this much and your hair's long and you're not one to cut it or not one to wear wigs, and you just keep going until you get to a stage where you're like, my hair, it just feels different, it looks different, it's starting to behave now the way I want it to. Keep going, because maybe you might have this much hair left and you'll decide, I'm going to cut it, and then you have a new look, a fresh look. And honestly, I was pretty much blown away when I finished my transition. For a very long time, I wore, like I am now, one side behind my ear and just kept cutting the back up shorter and shorter and letting this grow out. And when this part started to get a little bit fuller and grown, started to grow, I felt better about, my hairstyle. And I just always tried to make myself feel better by, sometimes I'd be really bold with some beautiful red lipstick and just making sure that, I put on a little bit of mascara and that I felt good going out. I didn't go out going, oh my gosh, who's going to look at my hair? Oh my gosh, who's looking at my, gray hair growing out? Who's thinking I look old and haggard? Just didn't care anymore at that point. Just didn't care. So most of all, love yourself and where you are right now in the chapter of your life, because it's really true. I mean, I'm not just trying to put together little cliches and, sayings, because it's your life. It's where you're at. And, when you get to be where I'm at my age, 60s, I've earned the right to feel good about myself and confident and just not concerned about what others think. Because listen, I was one of them. I was one of them. I would look at certain women sometimes that I worked with and I'd think, how do you come to work looking like that with bedhead and gray hair growing out? Are you kidding me? And it was just to the, I didn't understand it. I just couldn't understand, like, you're growing your hair out and you're only 40. Why are you doing that? So I'm there. I'm there where you're at. I was there. And now I have healthy hair. I have hair that is manageable. I've cut my hair washing down from every day to about once every 4 days. My scalp has been so much healthier, and yes, I do use good products. Yes, I do hair masks routinely and regularly, and I think all of that is a part of going through this transition. And some may just grow out white, some may just have a silver tone to it, some salt and pepper. Everybody's hair is different, and I will say it was easier for me, because I don't want to sit here and think like, yes, I just braved this and went on, because I didn't. Because I was just like, I cannot tell you the days I would stand in front of the mirror and go, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This hair looks awful. It's disgusting. I can't stand the haircut. I don't like what's going on, until the time period that we kind of put some non-dye color in my hair that, I've talked about this, that I looked like a unicorn or a leprechaun gone bad. I did it. I did it all. And now I have really good results, and I do like the color of my hair, and I'm proud of it. And I don't ever go out thinking, oh, somebody's looking at me like I have gray hair, so I'm too old, or I'm old. And I just, I've never been the type of person that really focuses too much on what other people think. I probably should a little more, but I just have never been that way. But the other thing I wanted to just mention quickly is doing the 3-day decision. And this is what I want to share with you, because this has just been such an invaluable tool for me and for my husband, and we've just done this for years. Whenever we have to make a decision about something that's important to us in our life, and yeah, this transition was a big deal for me. We sit down and we do a pro and a con list, and we just gather all the information. And then whatever way we're feeling after we've done that research or look at everything, we have to make a choice to say, yes, I'm strongly for this, or no, I'm strongly against this. And then the 3-day process starts. So if after gathering all the information, talking to people, like I said, going to your hairdresser, looking at pictures, looking at hairstyles, thinking about what you might want to do, how you want to do this, when you look at everything that you've written down, you do have a sense, one way or the other. I'm feeling like, yes, I want to do this. So that's what you have to go with for 3 days. 3 days. Yes, I'm going to stop coloring my hair. Yes, I'm going to transition. Yes, I'm going to look at some new hairstyles. Yes, I'm going to do this no matter what anybody else says to me. And you keep your yes strong. The next day, it's yes, I am going to do this. Yes, I feel good about this. And you don't waver, oh, today I think I've got to say no. No. 3 days, you have to go with whatever choice you made on that first day. Now, as you go through the process, you start thinking about your inside thoughts. Your yes may not be quite as vibrant, strong as it was on day 1. But on day 2, it's, yes, I want to do this. Yes, I think. Okay, am I really going to be worried about what other people think and say? Yes, I still want to do it. And you just start to waver down. By the 3rd day, whatever thought process you're going through, you can make a really well-informed decision by day number 3. I kid you not. It works every time. You know, you might start feeling like a real unsettling inside of you. I'll give just an example, okay? Maybe your husband doesn't want you to do this. Maybe he just is so against it because he feels like you're young and blah, blah, blah. And like we talked about, you kind of have to disregard. But a husband, your spouse, it's a pretty big deal. And if you're concerned about how he looks at you, how he feels about you, if that's something that's so strong inside of you, and you know by day 3, you know, I just am not feeling good about this right now, but someday I might really want to do this and really, you know, just have that gusto. I'm just throwing that out as an example. I mean, I say that because a spouse is important, and, you know, you want your spouse to always care about how you look, or, you know, how you look to him. It's important. But, you know, my spouse knows I always say, hey, too bad I don't tell you how to wear your bald head. Don't tell me how to do my hair. That's just us. That's our relationship. But he was like, what are you doing? You know, but it was okay because he was supportive as I was going through it. You know, so what I'm saying is, by the time you get to that 3rd day, you either have a conviction of a super strong yes, or it's been, no, I just wavered from feeling so strong. And maybe on that first day your answer is, nope, not doing it. Nope, just can't do it. I can't go through all this. No. And you keep looking over your pros and cons, and you keep thinking, you know, why not? What do I have to lose? I could just grow it out. I mean, I'm used to wearing my hair short, so how long could it be? A year? And if I don't like it, what's the worst that can happen? I can just put color on it. So that's what I'm saying. You start to look at those feelings from inside, and you'll be able to make a decision. But I've always used that 3-day decision, but I never waver from however I'm feeling on day 1. Like, I feel really good about this. Like when we were going to take the transfer, this is just an example, to move to Tennessee, it was a big deal. It was a big, huge change for us, big deal. And we did our pros and our cons, both separate, you know, writing things down. We talked about it with each other, like a pro for me, a con for him, you know. And then when we came to the point where we were ready to make a decision, we did not discuss with each other what our decisions were going to be. So we said, okay, day one, and we prayed through it. We really asked God to open our eyes, our heart, you know, just give us the right signals so that we know that we're doing the right thing. And so my decision was yes. Yes, I think this is a great opportunity for my husband. I think we should do this. Yes. And he was making his decision. And when we came together on the third day, we just kind of wrote down, flipped it and showed each other. And we are both yes. So that's great, you know, when you can do that with a partner on something that's, you know, a pretty big deal. But I still do it with myself when it comes to making decisions like that. This is another chapter in my life. It was a pretty big chapter for a gal who started dyeing her hair when she was like 14 or 15, unbeknownst to my mom. But I was putting some kind of color one way or another, even though it was peroxide. So I had a lot of damage to my hair, and now I think I've restored its health, and I like the way it's growing out, its color. So I hope this helps you in your transition. I know it's long, but I just thought I could put this all together, and I always want to talk about good hair, good scalp, you know, care, because I think it's important. And I think when women come to that point in their life that they do want to change, they're just not sure how to go about it, I hope this will be encouraging. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and until my next video, be kind, be humble, age gracefully. Bye.